प्रगति, हम वीडियो स्टार्ट करने लगे हैं, तुम कहाँ खोई हुई हो?
I'm just reading this statement कप में जो लिखा है, the meaning of communication is the response that you get. And I just started thinking about it, and I started thinking, मुझे ये सोचने में लगी मैं कि मैं इतना सोचती क्यों? The statement is amazing, and I should have just left it at that, right? But it's, you just one thing after the other, the thought just keeps linking.
करेक्ट. तो अगर तो इसका आंसर ढूंढना है तो आज इसी बारे में बात करते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
थिंकिंग ऑन पर्पस और ओवर थिंकिंग. देखो, सिंपल क्वेश्चन, मैं इतना सोचती क्यों हूं का आंसर है क्योंकि सोचना आता है. यू हैव द कैपेबिलिटी टू थिंक.
Yeah, but what amazes me is that how some people just don't think. Like I sometimes catch hold of my husband or some of my friends, क्या सोच रहे हो? They'll be like, nothing. But if somebody would ask me or some of my other friends whom I know also who are into overthinking, they can just list down like at least 50 thoughts in that 30 seconds, 1 minute.
Correct.
At least 50 to 70 thoughts they would have.
So let me ask you, do you like it or you don't like it? Well, some people like it and I don't have anything about that. So,
see, I like it if it is, like you said, if it's on purpose. So then I'm thinking ideas. And I may end up overthinking on that idea and getting it perfect. But then there are times when it's a useless battle.
Oh yes.
वो हमारे कंट्रोल में होता नहीं है और हम उस चीज पे ही इतना कुछ सोचते रहते हैं बिकॉज वो हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है.
और हम फंस जाते हैं और हम you start feeling helpless. मतलब एक मजबूरी वाली फीलिंग नहीं आती कि shit, I'm going through this but I can't do anything about it. But then your mind just goes on and on in loop. Oh yes. Overthinking क्या है? सबसे पहले सोचते हैं, ओवरथिंकिंग है जितना सोचना किसी पर्पस के लिए जरूरी है उससे ज्यादा सोचना. First, let's understand what is thinking. Thinking is a process, essential process of our life.
Correct.
Humans का जो cognitive function है उसका important part है thinking.
Yep.
Thinking includes talking to one own self. अपने आप से बात करते हैं सोचते वक्त.
Absolutely.
जब हम अपने आप से बात करते हैं तो क्या वो बातचीत एक गोल की तरफ है, एक पर्पस की तरफ है, या हम ऐसे ही बहस कर रहे हैं अपने आप से?
I think most of the times हम आपस में अपने आप से बहस कर रहे होते हैं. हम इमेजिनरी किसी से बातें कर रहे होते हैं, किसी को अपनी क्लैरिफिकेशन दे रहे होते हैं, अपने आप को डिफेंड कर रहे होते हैं.
करेक्ट.
I mean many things, but unfortunately I think it's just leading to graying of the hair.
Yes, it does. Overthinking से premature aging normal है और thinking on purpose से नहीं होती. मजेदार बात.
Agree.
देखो, कई एस्पेक्ट्स है इसके. पहले समझते हैं कि जब हम अपने दिमाग में अपने आप से लगातार बहस कर रहे हैं, बात कर रहे हैं बिना किसी पर्पस के, तो पहली बात ये सोचने, क्या मेरी ये उस आदत से आ रहा है जो मैं बाहर करता हूं या करती हूं, जो अपने दिमाग के, जब मैं दूसरों के साथ भी है तो क्या मैं उनसे बहस करना चाहता हूं या चाहती हूं, और नहीं कर पा रहा तो क्या मैं अपने दिमाग में कर रहा हूं.
So Ashish, what is the root cause? मतलब do you think this is something that happens from childhood or is it just happens overnight? क्या होता है ये root cause? क्या होता है overthinking का?
In many cases,
yeah,
it is the inability to express.
Okay.
And then we try to express it to ourselves.
Oh yes.
In other cases, it is about the fear that our ideas may not be welcome. Most people have learned the only way to express is verbally. But there are so many ways to express. Art is one of the most beautiful ways to express.
Yeah, journaling.
Journaling is important. Dance is important. You are an expert at that.
Yeah.
Theater is important.
Yes.
Painting is important. And all these things help you calm down that overthinking mind. Also, let's focus on the basic principle that mind and body are parts of the same system. And at times, one of them would dominate. So if you want the overthinking to go down, bring the bodily action up. Start jogging. Start doing something.
Ask yourself the question, do I want to stay in thinking or doing? It's thinking versus doing. Sometimes the overthinking becomes so much that people while doing also keep thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you can see जो हम आजकल बात करते हैं mindless scrolling की जो हम बोलते रहते हैं.
Yeah.
मतलब you don't even realize how हम सोचते हैं कि चलिए 5 मिनट के लिए we can see something and it becomes hours.
Well, in my personal opinion, we are the victims of a particular conspiracy.
Yeah, you can say that.
And of course, in the Western world, people are challenging this in the court of law.
Yeah.
Of course, in India, it doesn't really matter as of now, but it will. I feel it's a way of mind control
Yep.
because you're constantly hooked to something that is producing the dopamine and keeping you engaged there. You're no longer engaged in what is really productive in life.
Yeah, you rightly said that, and I think that the self-talk that comes with that, which can actually be dangerous.
Oh yes.
Depending on बंदे और बंदी की जो personality है, how they think about a certain situation, and the kind of self-talk they can do. I mean, मतलब it can be destructive also.
Yes.
It can be constructive also.
Correct.
और destructive में तो you can see, people have lost their jobs.
Yes.
They have relationship issues. मतलब वो self-talk को कैसे manage करें?
Self-talk दो तरह की है. पहली, मैं अपने आप ही अपने दो हिस्से कर लेता हूँ, पार्ट ए एंड पार्ट बी, और उन दोनों में बहस होती रहती है.
Yeah.
That's one way of self-talk. That I divide myself into parts. इसको parts differentiation बोलते हैं. In NLP, if you have to deal with it, we deal with parts integration. When we learn NLP, we'll be seeing that. Also, it is not a good idea to make parts of you and then not integrate them, because it can lead to a lot of emotional stress. Usually starts with my heart says this and my mind says this kind of a talk, or my life wants this but my desires want this.
So what is a simple technique that you tell? I mean, you've
Yes.
coached 1,000 of people.
So there are methods. I wouldn't call them simple. They are practice, because let me tell you, even this self-talk in your head, the thought loops that you go through, the intrusive thoughts you go through,
Yeah.
they have become so profound because you have been practicing hard.
Yeah.
बहुत सालों से उसकी प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो, तो अब इतने पक्के हो गए. Consistently, people love overthinking because somewhere people are not overdoing.
Yeah.
And the idea of creating a balance between doing and thinking is kind of missing right now.
Yep.
It is important to think. Think is a very important human function. So the idea is to step into purposeful thinking, thinking on purpose, thinking on demand. For example, suppose I want to do something. I want to, let's say, write a book, or I want to hold a stage show, or I want to do a stand-up comic session. I would think with that purpose in mind. So my thinking will have a direction to it. But if there's no purpose, no goal, and then I step into what I call thinking, I'll go everywhere.
That's true.
So it's more about giving a direction to your thoughts. And direction can be presupposed. It can be done generally also, that you can say that, okay, I would usually think about the way I want to live my life.
Yeah, Ashish, see, a lot of us, maybe who have that slight will, will want to work on that. But many of us don't even realize that this is an issue that we are facing. And we keep ruminating, जो हम बोलते हैं कि अच्छा, we had a bad episode with a relative. And I'm seeing this with a lot of senior citizens actually. कि they are constantly repeating that emotional baggage जो हम बोलते हैं, which you have kind of carried in these years. And then you're thinking about जो 15 साल पहले हुआ, 20 साल पहले हुआ, and they're constantly in that thought, and then it starts impacting your near and dear ones who are living with you. So what can the near and dear ones do to help this person?
Honestly, not much, because this is a personal journey. Yes, near and dear ones can tell them to talk to a coach. Also, a lot of people who think about past is also coming off from a childhood thinking pattern, which has absolutely nothing to do with this.
Current situation, yeah. An unmet expectation.
Yes. As a child, when you were born, you're like a blank slate. Over the next few years, most of us are exposed to a particular belief that we think is true. And that belief is called cause and effect.
Yeah.
Cause and effect states that everything will have a cause and everything will have an effect. Well, sorry, but that's not true. It is only one of the ways, there are other ways also, to connect random events based on assumptions. And I know cultures throughout the world promote this idea of cause and effect. And they borrow it from science, but they don't let the scientific rules apply to it. We think of cause and effect in terms of our memories, not of actual events. Let me ask you this. Right from the time of your birth till now, do you remember each day, every event?
No.
Which means you remember some of the things that you call memories.
Memories, yes.
So what are memories? Memories are events plus emotions. When there's an event and there's an emotion attached to it, it becomes a memory, and over a period of time, it may fade, it may not fade, but it will usually distort because it's perception based. So we don't remember the event, we remember the perception of it.
Yeah, actually.
Now, when we start thinking of cause and effect, we say, okay, why this happened to me or something like that, we keep hopping back in the timeline and find some memory which could be a probable cause and call it the cause. It just satisfies us somehow, but it doesn't let us move forward. Cause and effect is a back loop. Therefore, one of the ways I really suggest is skip the why loop, step into the how loop.
Yeah.
How says, how can I get what I want? There are 3 steps of it. People say, why did this happen to me? And I ask them, what would you want? And it takes a lot of time for them to come to, what do I want? Once they reach there, what do they want? The most important question is, how are you going to get it? And now apply your thinking power to, how do I get something? So if you use your thinking towards what you want instead of what happened in the past, the same thinking power is going to help you build a life you want.
Yep, actually.
That's how it works.
Actually, yeah. I think that those are brilliant tips. But yeah, and I think it requires also a lot of practice.
It is a practice.
Being consistent.
It's a conscious decision. And as we were talking some time ago, overthinking is also a result of comparison thinking.
Yep.
Yes. So overthinking may also cause anxiety.
Yep.
Overthinking has a lot of really bad effects. Sadness, sometimes even depression, anxiety, anger. And all of them can be managed if we simply start stepping into the how question. How do I get what I want? Instead of, why is this happening to me? Also, when your mind is divided into 2 people and they are arguing, if possible, take a break from that and ask yourself, what do I as a person want? What do I want as a person? And when I say I want this, just start thinking, what do I want? So the idea is to put a crack in that thought loop.
Yep.
If you're able to put that crack, you have won over it.
Oh, I think that was a right term that you've used. I think that I wish all of us can, identify those cracks and give that pause to the overthinking and shift to, thinking on for purpose.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So thank you, Pragati, and I hope our viewers also got a good idea about how to turn overthinking into purposeful thinking. And if you want to connect to me, of course, you can comment. You can go to my website, ashishsehgal.com. I'm waiting for your comments. See you soon.